Banks are, a familiar and vital part of our modern world. We see their buildings in every town and city, and we use their services almost every single day. A bank is, quite simply, a place of trust. It's an institution that looks after our money, keeping it safe for when we need it. For many of us, it's where our salaries are paid, where we save for the future, and from where we borrow to buy a home or start a business. Without them, our complex societies would honestly struggle to function. They're the financial heart of our communities, pumping money where it's needed, just as our own heart pumps blood through our bodies. Long before the grand buildings we see today, people still had a fundamental need to keep their valuables safe. In ancient times, this was a very personal and, often precarious task. A farmer might bury a pot of coins in his field, hoping no one would discover it. A merchant might hide his profits under a loose floorboard in his home or within a hidden wall cavity. These methods, however, were fraught with danger. A forgotten location, a fire, or a simple thief could mean the loss of a lifetime's savings. There was no insurance, no security guard, and no one to turn to if the worst happened. This constant risk was a heavy burden for people to bear. As societies grew larger and more complex, a more reliable solution was needed. People began to look for a central, secure place that everyone in the community respected and trusted. This search for safety led them not to a new type of building, but to one that was already at the very center of their lives: the temple. In many ancient cultures, temples were considered sacred ground, protected by the gods themselves. They were sturdy, well-guarded, and seen as neutral territory. Stealing from a temple was not just a crime against people. It was a grave offense against the divine, a sin that few would dare to commit. This shared belief and reverence made temples the natural choice to become the first safe deposit boxes. People could bring their grain, their precious metals, or their coins and leave them under the protection of the priests and the watchful eyes of the gods. This act of depositing goods in a holy place was the very first step towards organized banking. It was a simple idea, born from a universal need for security. It marked a profound shift from individual, hidden hoards to a communal, trusted system. This simple act of faith laid the groundwork for the entire financial world we know today. Our journey to find the world's oldest bank takes us back in time, over 4,000 years ago, to the Fertile Crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This land, known as Mesopotamia, was the cradle of civilization. Here, in vibrant cities like Babylon and Uruk, remarkable advancements were being made in writing, law, and commerce. It was within this innovative environment, around 2000 BC, that the first recognizable banking activities began to take shape. These were not banks in separate buildings as we know them, but rather functions that took place within the most important structures of all, the grand temples and royal palaces. These ancient Mesopotamian temples were more than just places of worship. They were the economic and administrative hearts of the city-states. Priests and scribes, among the few who could read and write, managed vast estates, collected taxes, and oversaw the storage of agricultural surplus. They were meticulous record keepers, using clay tablets and styluses to document every transaction. This incredible level of organization and their trusted position in society made them the ideal candidates to manage the wealth of others. People naturally gravitated towards these holy sites to secure their assets, confident in their integrity and security. The system they developed was, honestly, pretty ingenious. When a farmer deposited a sack of barley, a scribe would create a clay tablet detailing the amount, the date, and the depositor's name. This tablet acted as a receipt, a physical proof of the deposit that was almost impossible to forge. This practice of recording transactions was a monumental leap forward. It introduced accountability and created a formal system that could be relied upon. The temples became vast storehouses, not just for religious offerings, but for the private wealth of the citizens, from humble farmers to wealthy merchants. It was a system built on writing and trust. So, while there isn't one single building we can point to and name as the first bank, the banking system itself originated here. The temples of Mesopotamia were the birthplace of the core functions of banking, safekeeping, and record-keeping. They were the institutions that first solved the age-old problem of how to protect one's wealth in a reliable and organized manner. This practice, established millennia ago in what is now modern-day Iraq, set a precedent that would echo through the ages, evolving into the complex financial systems we depend on in the 21st century. It all began here, with mud bricks, clay tablets, and a deep-seated trust in the divine. The services offered by these ancient temple banks were, honestly, surprisingly sophisticated for their time. The primary function, of course, was the safekeeping of valuables. Citizens could deposit not just money in the form of silver or gold, but also essential commodities like grain, olive oil, and even livestock. These were the real currencies of the ancient world. The temple priests would meticulously record these deposits and store them in secure vaults and granaries within the temple complex. This service alone provided immense peace of mind to the public, protecting their wealth from theft and disaster in a way that had never been possible before. Beyond simple storage, the temples of Mesopotamia also pioneered the concept of loans. They didn't just let the assets sit idle in their vaults. The priests understood that this stored wealth could be put to productive use. A farmer might need seed to plant his next crop, or a merchant might require silver to fund a trading expedition to a distant land. They could go to the temple and borrow what they needed. Of course, these loans were not free. The temples charged interest, a fee for using their assets. This interest was often paid back in kind. A farmer who borrowed barley would pay back the original amount plus an extra portion of his harvest. One of the most fascinating facts about this system is that the interest rates were often legally codified. The famous Code of Hammurabi, one of the oldest and most complete legal texts, set official limits on the amount of interest that could be charged. For loans of grain, the maximum annual interest rate was set at 33.3%, while for loans of silver, it was 20%. This shows an incredible level of economic regulation. It was an attempt to create a fair system and prevent lenders, including the temples, from exploiting borrowers with impossibly high rates. It protected the people and ensured the economy remained stable. Another remarkable innovation was a form of credit transfer. A merchant with a deposit of grain in a temple in one city, say Babylon, could get a written order from the priests. He could then travel to a sister temple in another city, like Sippar, and present this clay tablet to withdraw an equivalent amount of grain there. This eliminated the dangerous and difficult task of physically transporting bulky goods over long distances. It was, in essence, the world's first check or bank draft, a revolutionary concept that greatly facilitated trade and commerce across the Mesopotamian world, all recorded on simple tablets of clay. Comparing the banking of ancient Mesopotamia to the banking of today, in 2026, reveals a world of astonishing change. Yet the core principles remain remarkably similar. Back then, your bank was a physical temple. Your wealth was often measured in barley, and your transaction record was a heavy clay tablet. Today, our banks are often global corporations. Our wealth is a string of digital data, and our records are stored securely in the cloud. The sheer speed of modern banking would be honestly unimaginable to an ancient Babylonian. We can transfer funds across the globe in seconds using a device that fits in our pocket, a process that once required a dangerous caravan journey lasting weeks. The services have also expanded dramatically. While Mesopotamian temples offered safekeeping and loans, modern banks provide a vast array of complex financial products. We have credit cards, mortgages, investment accounts, retirement funds, and international currency exchange. Banking has become deeply integrated into every aspect of our lives, from paying for a morning coffee with a tap of our phone to securing a loan for our education. The scale is also different. Ancient banking served city-states, whereas modern finance is a truly global, interconnected network that operates 24 hours a day, influencing economies and lives on every continent. Despite these incredible technological leaps, the fundamental purpose of a bank has not changed. At its heart, banking is still about trust and security. We deposit our money in a bank because we trust it will be kept safe, just as an ancient farmer trusted the temple priests. We borrow from a bank to achieve our goals, believing in a system that allows us to use capital to create new opportunities, just as a Mesopotamian merchant did. The tools have evolved from clay and stylus to silicon chips and algorithms, but the human needs they serve, for safety, for credit, for a reliable means of exchange, are timeless. This is why banks remain critically important in our modern world. They are the guardians of our economic system, providing the stability and liquidity that allow businesses to grow, individuals to prosper, and society to function smoothly. They channel savings into investments, turning dormant money into active capital that builds homes, funds innovation, and creates jobs. From the sacred temples of ancient Mesopotamia to the digital applications on our phones, the long and fascinating story of banking is the story of humanity's ongoing quest to create systems of trust that allow us to build a better and more prosperous future together.